None of you did anything to prevent this?
There was nothing we could do. We were totally unprepared for this.
Ah! Don't give me unprepared. You knew then, and you did nothing.
What it do, YouTube? I'm Ricky. And I'm Ricardo. And we are not twins. That is me, and like every other person with a camera and the internet, I felt compelled on discussing this whole coronavirus ordeal. Now, I had intent on breaking character for a minute, giving other me the day off, and showing how I made my own hand sanitizer and how I used vacuum cleaner bags to create my own homemade mask without suffocating myself. Now, but the bottom line is, the people in this country are remarkably stupid, and the leadership in government is not too far behind that. People who think this came from a Chinese lab, to the people who think that this is a liberal media ploy to ruin the president, to people who think we're just overreacting to what amounts to the flu, to the people who are constantly looking for these gotcha moments. This country thrives and strives on chaos and conspiracy. For being one of the most developed countries in the world, we can be some real dumbasses when it comes to the safety and protection of ourselves and others. We shouldn't need draconian laws and regulations to tell us to wash our hands and stay in the house. Common sense should dictate that. Okay? While some of you are out there breaking the rules by simply thinking that those rules don't apply to you, you got your medical professionals, from the doctors and nurses all the way down to the receptionists at the hospitals. You still got your policemen and firemen still having to save lives and fight crime. And then you have the low-wage workers like your truck drivers and people working in grocery stores and restaurants and gas stations. People that make little or nothing to make sure that we maintain some kind of order. And here you are pissing all over that with your pettiness and selfishness. Okay? And I'm not even going to get into the idiots posting that unimaginably stupid shit, like coughing all over groceries or licking toilet seats. They're attention whoring minions, and I'm not afraid to call them that. And I hope they're getting those likes in prison. Other me, you have the floor. Now, I know the theme of this channel is for me to disagree with you, but I can't. I hate to cast this on the media, but fear drives the news cycle. People are angry at what they fear. And when they're angry, they must blame somebody. I mean, go look at news websites and broadcasts. We're constantly being spoon-fed data on how our leaders are fucking up. They want us to be scared. They want us to be angry. They want us to blame somebody other than ourselves for the spread of this virus. But we are so far beyond that. How about doling out some good news? How about how many people have recovered from this? Give the people some kind of hope. Okay, I'll agree with you on the media, okay, broadcast, cable, and social media. When we become scared and angry, we become gullible. And at that point, we'll believe anything given our source of choice. But if they start revealing how many people have recovered, then it'll develop a sense of complacency and make the situation worse. Okay, I feel you on that, but day after day after day of bad news and blaming our leaders and showing that even they can't come together to fix this, eventually it's going to just turn into white noise, and people are going to just flip off the news and go watch Jeopardy or something. People are going to just give up hope and assume that the infection is unavoidable. Either they catch it cooped up in their house, or they catch it outside having a good time. Which one do you think they're going to choose? If you're watching, America, please prove us wrong on this. Regardless of how this virus came to be, or who at the leadership level is at fault for their response or lack therein, how's about we do what we have to do to get rid of it? Then you can spout your conspiracy theories until you're blue in the face. Let's flatten the curve and knock this thing out. You could convince us of what they want us to think, or what they are trying to do, or what they are doing to the population, what they are doing to get money out of it. They must be some awful people, but you're more than welcome to get them once we back to some normalcy. This is going to change the landscape of this country's lifestyle and economy forever. We will never return to the way it was 6 months ago. Well, we can damn sure try. Until then, wash your hands, wash your ass, keep your distance on people, and leave the house to work, get fuel, and buy groceries. I mean, how many times do we have to say that? I mean, everybody thinks they're right. The longer you drag this out, the longer it's going to last. And despite our government's late response, even then, if we would have heeded these warnings a few weeks ago, we'll be wrapping this thing up by now. You know, if you're waiting on the government to tell you when and how to wash your hands or sneeze into your elbow, you are part of the problem. If you out here prancing around thinking you can't get this virus, then you are part of the problem. If you are refusing to adhere to the protocols put forth by your state and local government simply because you don't like the person telling it to you, then you are part of the problem. If you can't sit in your house for 2 or 3 weeks with your family without going insane, then you had problems well before this virus came along. And you're part of the problem. I know most of you could care less about how the world sees us, mainly because you continue to have this belief that we are far superior to the other countries. If it was our intent to expose the vulnerabilities of the infrastructure of this country, then we are doing a damn good job of it. Look, this virus doesn't care who it hits. It's not going to pass you over just because you're woke and you know the truth. It doesn't give a flying fornication if you're a liberal or a conservative. It doesn't care if you're in a red state or a blue state. It doesn't care if you're getting your information from Fox News or MSNBC. If you think this is a liberal media hoax to make Trump look bad, then show him that it didn't work. Protect yourself. Flatten the curve. Make the man look good. If this is some bioagent that either the U.S. gave to China or vice versa, let's prove that in the long term that it's ineffective. You can't tell me that a few weeks of minor inconveniences are not worth saving lives and ending this pandemic. Okay, like all tragedies that have come before this, let's show some solidarity and some unity, not division, doubt, and hate. Now's the time to behave as one people and one government. The world is watching, America, and I'm challenging myself. Are you? Over and out.